Well, hello. I'm super excited to talk with you about
Oh, thank you.
adventure schooling, Nicole. This is going to be so much fun. But for the moms who don't happen to know you or don't follow your super fun Instagram account, can you just tell them a little bit about yourself, your family, and your homeschooling?
I can. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to have this conversation. My name is Nichole Holze. You can find me on the Instagram page Coleyraeh, which I know makes literally no sense, but I'll explain that later. I have two kids. My son is 14, soon to be 15, and my daughter just turned 12. We've been homeschooling the adventure schooling way from the very beginning. And I stayed home with them. So I guess you could say we're on year 14, I guess, because my son is 14. We just decided to homeschool from the very beginning after moving to a different part of the country, and it's the best decision we've ever made.
I love that you said that your son's turning 14 or is 14, and so you've pretty much been homeschooling for 14 years. I love that because when people ask me when did you start homeschooling? I always say, well, I think we homeschooled from birth all the way through high school graduation because that was our
Right.
motto. Everything is a learning opportunity. So, see, I knew we were sisters. All right. So you had mentioned your way of homeschooling, your adventure homeschooling here. So for the moms who don't follow you yet, but I know they're going to follow you after this conversation, and they don't know, okay, what's adventure schooling? I mean, come on, there's game schooling, there's unschooling, there's classical schooling, there's all these schoolings. And so now there's adventure schooling. Can you tell us what it is? Because you kind of coined it. And then how did you start doing it?
Oh, thank you. And yes, that's so funny you say that because it seems like there's so much information out there now, even compared to when we started, 10 years ago. It's a vastly different landscape. But
Hmm.
I'm so grateful for all of the resources that are available now. And I hope that I can be a resource too. So, adventure schooling. Truthfully, it got started because we moved from Iowa to Texarkana, USA. It's a place. It's a split city. Half the city is in Arkansas, half is in Texas. Being from the Midwest, I didn't know anybody. Two, we didn't have any family nearby. And three, it was a completely new area for us geographically. So for us, it was really exciting to be like, oh, we can explore Arkansas this weekend and we can explore Texas the next weekend, or we can go to Oklahoma or Louisiana all in a really short drive. So I guess adventure schooling in a nutshell, I'll kind of get into how we got started later, but really it's learning to see the wonder wherever you wander, and even if you're wandering not very far from home. I really dove deep into learning to love where we live, and I really got good at finding unique adventures and things we could go do along the way, from hikes that we could do weekly to backpacking trips to canoe camping to cross-country road trips. Really anything that I could do that would take the experiential learning out of the books and out of the pages into the real world.
I know. I love your tagline. What is it? Keep the wonder as you wander.
Yes.
It's just so fun. And I love that you really emphasize to the moms that even when you wander, it could be in your backyard because that's actually how we started nature schooling. Because that seems so daunting to me,
Hmm.
especially if you're trying to do it the Charlotte Mason purist way. There's just so much to nature schooling. And I was just overwhelmed when a friend of mine said, your backyard is gorgeous. Your husband created this beautiful sanctuary for you. Just spend the whole year getting to know what grows in your backyard, what visits your backyard, become
Yes.
experts on your backyard. And that just made nature schooling so much easier. So I love how you're saying, even just if you're wandering up your street or in your backyard or at the local park, you can still wander and do adventure schooling. So let's let's get into this. I love that you push moms to do hard things. And I don't like to do hard things, especially if it's outdoors that I have to sweat. But I digress. And
I
that
can relate. I live in the South. We sweat all the time.
it's constant. I mean,
Yes.
you take a shower in the morning, and then by
Hmm.
noon you have to take another shower because you're wet.
You
Yes.
get
Yep,
it.
I got it. And then sometimes you have to take a third shower at night because,
Yes.
anyway. And you also encourage moms to let their kids engage in risky play. Oh, I could do a whole episode on that soapbox. I just think, and I am one of those helicopter moms. I was of that generation where I hovered,
Hmm.
and it took me a long time to, oh, let's just say, see the era of my ways. But you encourage you encourage moms to let their kids engage in risky play. And I once heard you say, wait, I want to get this right. Change happens at the edge of your comfort zone. And that
Mhm.
adventure schooling helps kids and moms conquer their fears together. Okay, I'm already
Yeah.
sweating, but I want to get into this. And you also can you dig just a little bit deeper into that? So why is it important for moms to step out of their comfort zone? And what are the benefits of, allowing kids and ourselves to
Yeah.
participate in challenging, hands-on outdoor adventures?
Whew. All right, there's a lot to say here.
I know.
So I think at the root of it, I personally have always loved the outdoors. I've always loved a challenge. I was a swimmer in high school. I swam on scholarship in college. I've always been kind of that someone who wanted to chase and try new things. But I also brought with that perhaps my own, not childhood trauma, but my own feelings is where there's so many adventures I didn't get to try because I was really concerned about injuring myself for swimming. So
Mhm.
then we decided to move across the country, my husband and I. My daughter was born here. She's a true Texan. She was born in Texas. But all of a sudden, I found myself in this completely different phase of life. And we all know that early motherhood, especially in the infant and toddler years, can get exceedingly monotonous. It can get really hard. It can feel really lonely. It can really feel like you're not accomplishing anything because there's so little change. There's changes that are happening on a grander scale, but we don't always see those little changes on the day to day. So for me, I just felt like, there has to be something different that I can do. I had always loved outdoor adventure. In fact, my husband and our first big date was a mountain biking excursion where I trash talked the entire way and he smoked me so bad he was waiting by the car. And I fell in love with him. But we've always loved adventures, and I just kind of had an epiphany moment where I thought, having my children doesn't mean these adventures have to stop. And at the time, this was 15 years ago, there weren't as many moms speaking to that in the social media spaces. There weren't as many voices speaking to that. There was like Backpacker magazine and there's Outside magazine, and there wasn't anyone speaking to me, kind of, the more adventuring with kids. It doesn't mean the adventures have to stop. So I started getting brave, and it started really small. In fact, the very first adventure we went on, I packed a snack for my son. My daughter was an infant, and we loaded up the car. We went across the street to the playground, and we had a picnic and we played outside and we had a wonderful time, and nobody was crying by the end of the trip, and we got home, and for me that was a win. So then from there I just kind of started pushing the envelope a little bit further and a little bit further, and what I realized is that when I came home from these adventures, not only, well, one, my kids were exhausted and slept really well, but also they were really excited and proud and felt strong and couldn't wait to tell dad about what we did that day. But I also felt an incredible sense of accomplishment and strength that I knew that I had, but it kind of got buried and muddled in those early motherhood years. And so I got to kind of pull that out and draw on that as these adventures grew with us. And then next thing I knew, I was driving across the country by myself to go visit my parents because they lived 12 hours away, or we're going and doing these bigger backpacking trails and hiking trails. But the reason I do all of that, and I say that growth happens at the end of your comfort zone, is because in our homeschool, we knew that we wanted our kids to always, chase curiosity and try new things and be able to be brave and do the hard thing. The best way to do that is to model it. And so in our family, I wanted to model that for my kids. And that's where I came up with the responsibly brave term. You're at the edge of your comfort zone, but that's where the true challenge happens. That's where the growth happens. That's where some incredible mishaps that become amazing memories can happen. And at the end of the day, I'm so grateful for all of the memories my kids and I have cultivated, the good, the bad, the hysterical, and everything in between.
It's real amazing how, you were saying that, yes, your kids came home feeling accomplished and they couldn't wait to tell dad. But for you, as the mom who, like you said, especially when they're younger, you just don't feel like yourself. You don't feel like you're accomplishing much. You don't feel like there's, you're doing anything. Yes, raising kids is like the purpose in the world, but you don't feel that on a day-to-day basis. And so I love that you brought up that when you came home from doing these things, that you felt fulfilled, you felt like you accomplished something. And I feel like that's something that moms need to hear, especially when they're feeling burnt out with
Mhm.
homeschooling and motherhood, or when they feel like they just they're not good enough, or they're not experts enough in things. That
Mm.
I tell them all the time, look, if you're in that position right now, pick something that you absolutely love and it's your passion, and teach that to your kids, or bring them along and just do that for a while. It may not be 100% math, it may not be 100% science or history, but you're teaching them something that you love. And in that process, you're being filled. You're showing your
Yes.
kids through example, hey, mama's still chasing the things that she enjoys. And you're teaching them something that maybe when they get older, they will also love the backpacking, or, the hiking or the adventures. And so I'm just so glad you brought that up. So thank
Oh
you.
no, you're so right. You're so right. In fact, I like to joke sometimes that like I wanted to give I'm sharing the kinds of things now that I wish I would have seen like 14 or 15 years ago, because I was so just uplifting and freeing to give myself permission to embrace the kind of mom that I am. Like I'm
Mhm.
not cooking sourdough. I have celiac disease. I don't like to cook. It's not, I don't like it. My home is decorated with fossils and bones and crystals we've collected on all of our adventures. I'm not a home designer. I'm not in, like, there's all of these things that are beautiful, wonderful gifts. Um, but you see those, I'm just going to say it, in homeschool circles, you see those promoted as like the kind of things that are like how we're supposed to be as a homeschool mom. And it's just not a mold that I could fit into. And when I finally realized I don't have to fit into that mold, like my gift to my kids is being brave and doing the hard thing and going and being brave enough to go take on these incredible adventures. That's what I have to give to them. So when I leaned into that, incredible things happened.
Chef's kiss. I mean, all of it is awesome, is awesome. And so I love how you said push the envelope and lean into it. I mean, that's awesome. So you also say that get comfortable being uncomfortable. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, no, 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 no. I heard that and I read that and I went, oh my gosh, really? Do I have to? But you also emphasize, like you mentioned briefly, to do it responsibly brave, or to be responsibly brave. So you're so passionate about that that you actually created a whole course
I
called
did.
Responsibly Brave. So what exactly do you mean by that? And I'm an IW teacher, so responsibly, why did you put that ly word with that adjective to
I
be
know.
responsibly brave? I mean, tell us what that means and what your course entails.
Yeah, thank you. So it kind of stemmed from my social media started gaining traction around like 2017 with a lot of the, oh my goodness, I can't believe you're doing that with your kids, kind of questions. And I think a lot of times I was met with assumptions that I was just like blindly jumping into these things and going off to do things. But the analogy that I liked to use is that no, really, I'm the duck. Like my feet are paddling like crazy. You just don't see it. What you're seeing is this wonderfully curated, great adventure that we went on. And as I kind of started thinking about that more and helping guide people and share more to help others, that's my whole intent, was to help moms feel excited, inspired, and equipped to go on these adventures. This term kind of kept kicking around in my head, and because I would hear it all the time, you're so brave, you're so brave, you're so brave. And I'm like, well, first of all, I'm still doing it scared. But what I'm doing is it's well prepared. I have plans A, B, C, D, E, probably all the way up to like J. I've got all these backup plans. I've memorized the trail. I looked at all the topography maps. I've overpacked for what we need. I have extra things in the car. I have two first aid kits. So there's all this preparation that went in place. And so that's where I just kind of came up with the terms. No, no, I'm being responsible about this adventure. I'm being responsible with my children. I'm not being an irresponsible mom. I'm responsibly choosing to do the brave thing. So I kind of, a couple years ago, I took all of that experience that I've added up over 10 years, everything from like things I needed to have in the car to have my car to be prepared, because a lot of times I'll take my kids camping, dispersed camping. So like up in the woods in the middle of nowhere, we're driving way down these forest roads, sometimes off-road, which you can off-road in a minivan. I did it. But there's no phone service. We don't have access to things. And so I put all of that knowledge I've gained for the systems I have in place to go on these adventures into this course. So this course is called my Responsibly Brave course, and it has everything. It's kind of laid out to be a 12-week course as you march through it. And I have everything from packing lists to what to expect, things you should know about your car. You should know how to change a tire. And then also a little bit of the mindset. I still also address the mindset of like, here's the things that you should be thinking about to help yourself take off down this adventure schooling path.
Okay, it just sounds like so much fun. And moms, just know that in the show notes and also in the email that I send out, I'll send you the link to all of this, but especially to the Responsibly Brave course. And I think there's a discount that you're offering the listeners. So if they use the code, I think it was coffee. Thank you.
Coffee, yes.
That they get that discount. So
There's
that
also tips for how to make wilderness coffee in there. So
see, just for
you have
that.
to have coffee in the woods.
You kind of do. You
Yes.
kind of do. And in the car on the way there and in the
Yes.
car on the way home. But anyway.
Yes.
All right. So now that we know what adventure schooling is, and we could even do this whole course on how to do it responsibly and bravely and be prepared. I mean, it kind of sounds like the scouts, be prepared,
Right.
which I love. I would have never thought. Um, I mean, I knew how to change a tire because that was one of the things my dad made me do before he let me drive. I had to learn
Mhm.
all kind of stuff, which I thought was a great life skill. But can I do that now? Probably not. And that's probably something I should have brushed up on when I started going to car trips and things like that. But anyway, now that we know all of that, and you've already kind of mentioned a few things that you've done with your kids. So tell us how you find such adventurous things to do with your family. So where do you start? And kind of like even I know there's going to be some moms who are saying, "Well, my child's only 5, so this doesn't apply to me." So, how old
Well,
can they even start, right?
yes, I can answer that. So, my first big cross-country road trip was actually, this is going to sound ridiculous. It was actually a 3 week, no, I had one other big road trip, but the biggest one was my kids and I lived out of our minivan for 3 weeks that my husband had converted into a camper, and we just gallivanted out west, for the 2017 eclipse. But my daughter was 2.5 or 3, and my son was 6. You can do it. Our first camping trip, my son was 5 and my daughter was 2. So it's totally possible to do these adventures with the younger kids. But again, do it to your comfort level or just slightly outside. You don't have to shoot for the moon to begin with. Like start with where you're at and just take that next step. And that's what my course is designed to be, to like just help people take that next step. But finding these adventures, I will willingly admit I am an obsessive Googler. I think that part of what's so great about where I live, but I think the same could be said about everywhere, I have this deep ingrained belief that there's something amazing about everywhere. And I think it's just living our life with that seeing the wonder wherever we wonder mindset. What's really neat about here is we can drive an hour south and be in Louisiana. I can drive 2 minutes away and be in Texas. We can drive 2 hours north and be in the beautiful Ouachita Mountains in central Arkansas, or we can drive 2 hours south and be at Caddo Lake down in Louisiana. So geographically, we have some amazing opportunities here, but I always start with a city's tourism board website. So not every city is going to have a tourism website. Like my own city doesn't have a tourism website. So if you type in whatever city you're looking for and then just hit tourism board, it'll usually take you to a website that is meant to be kind of like that welcome center for people passing through. Usually they'll have a section for you're here with your family or family friendly things to do. That's a great place to start. Um, you can also, let's say, have tourism websites. You can also go to state websites. Like every state has a tourism, like arkansas.com is an amazing resource, to look at family friendly itineraries or outdoor things to do. So I would start with like your tourism websites.
Okay.
Another website that I absolutely love is Atlas Obscura, and it's a little bit of a Little bit different, but maybe homeschoolers will love it. It's kind of a combination of like quirky roadside America attractions and just like super unique things. It's how I discovered Meow Wolf in Santa Fe all the way back in like 2016 before they exploded. My kids and I went there because I found it on Atlas Obscura. It's how I found White Sands National Park. Actually, it was a national monument when we discovered it. So I went, a couple hours out of our way to go see that. Atlas Obscura. And then I spend a lot of time honestly on Instagram. Like I know there's discussions on both sides of the benefits or the not so great things about geotagging, but looking at locations on Instagram is always really helpful. Um, Looking up local coffee shops. So for me, if I can find a city that has a local coffee shop, then there's probably going to be some neat things around there for us to do. Or at the very least, you can go stop into that local coffee shop and talk to the people. I talk to people. That's my other big thing is yes, I will obsessively Google, but I will also obsessively talk to people and the locals in a kind and friendly way, but just talking, just having those conversations, you might find some hidden gems you otherwise wouldn't have heard about. It's how I've heard about some incredible hikes. It's how I've heard about amazing detours out in Utah because I just happened to talk to the server at the restaurant. Um, and I love that because then my kids also get to be part of the conversation and they get to see me just talking to people. I feel like nowadays it's even more important than ever is to have that personal connection and just talk to people. Um, so a lot of research goes in. Sometimes there's serendipitous excursions that end up just being wonderfully unique finds we just happen on, but usually there's a lot of research I put into it.
It's really funny how similar you are to my husband, um, because he talks up the locals. So he is 100%, he just, wherever we go, wherever we're traveling, the first thing he will do is he will just spark up a conversation with a complete stranger and say, where's the best barbecue? Or where's the best adventure? Or my wife really likes coffee. Where's the best coffee shop? And he will
Yeah.
just talk up anybody and everybody. And then that brings us to the first place we go and eat. And then while he's there, he'll
You
talk
find the
up the
next
waiter
one?
or the waitress. And then he'll even turn around and ask the people sitting behind us, hey,
I
where are
love
you
this.
from? And then they say,
Sometimes
yeah.
yeah, sometimes it doesn't always work out. We've been led to some that were not so great, but for the most part, it's just you'll find things and information that perhaps might not have been available online.
Yeah, especially when it comes to food.
Yes,
Especially when it comes
yes,
to food. But it's funny because I always kid around that there's nothing like traveling with my husband because he will
I
find the
bet.
most obscure. I'm going to have to share that with him, Atlas Obscura. He will
Yeah.
find the most obscure things for us to do on our road trips when we go to conventions because we
Oh,
tend
you
to
got to show them that
drive.
website.
Yeah, we tend to drive wherever the convention is, or we purposely go to an airport that might be like 2 or 3 hours away from the convention, and
Yes,
then we rent a car and make it an adventure
I love
well,
that.
as much of an adventure this one can handle. He's way more
No, but I
adventurous than
love
me.
that.
But we went to this one place on our road trip back from Texas. He kept telling me, you have to go to Cadillac Row. You have to go to
Oh,
Cadillac Row.
yeah.
Have you been?
We have. It was a detour, that grand excursion where we spent 3 weeks living out of our van. That was stop number one.
And it was just my husband and I. I think it was our first or second road trip or family trip without our family because my kids had grown. And so they were
Mhm.
both working. And so it was the first trip, just Mike and I, since the kids weren't born, that
Yes.
we were on this trip together. And so he takes me to Cadillac Row. And those of you who are listening or watching, you just have to go look it up. See what I'm talking about.
It's hard to put into words.
It really is. So I'm not even gonna attempt it. You just have to see it. And I took pictures of it and I took videos of my husband doing the thing that you're supposed to do when you're there.
Yes.
That's all I'm gonna say. And both of my kids immediately texted back, where has dad taken you this time?
Oh, I love this.
And I'm like, oh, honey, only with your father, only with your father. But anyway, that was a very low key adventure. So those of you who don't like to do a lot of like hiking or you're not quite there yet, that one's a good one for you.
That's a good one. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Your kids will have a lot of fun. All right, so I love that you're an adventure schooler. It just sounds really great. I know the moms are going to want to like really try and dive into this. But on a kind of a side note, um, you have an awful lot of hashtags and other interests. And I
I do.
love that about you because now that I'm on the other side of homeschooling and I'm not doing it anymore, one of my most asked about topics to speak on now is the topic of now what?
Hmm.
Now that the kids are grown and we did our job so well that they're off living their lives, you're right. Um,
Right. They're doing what we always hoped, but
yes. Now what? I just spent a good 25 years of my life home
hmm.
educating and being a mom. Now what do I do? And I love that you have such a diverse array of interest that you're already doing what I tell the moms they need to be doing is that don't wait until they're grown and out the house to pursue those dreams, to pursue those passions, to learn those skills that you always wanted to learn.
Mm.
Do that stuff now
Yes.
because then when they are gone, you've got now what? You've got this life of new adventures and things that you can be doing. So tell us about all of your hashtags and all of the other things that you are interested in. Get inspire them.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you said that. That's truthfully something that's always been dear to my heart as well. And it's like almost like a magnifying glass or spotlight is being shined on that as I'm like, huh, my son's a freshman in high school. So we're looking, down this road. It's coming quicker than I realized. And all of a sudden this absolutely life-giving, beautiful journey I've been blessed with is just gonna look different. So I guess early on coupled with that, so early on when we decided to homeschool, which was actually my husband's idea, not mine, and I said, what? And it ended up being the best thing for us. Due to the nature of the industry that he works in, he's one of those rare few who went to college for something specific, works in that industry, and 20 plus years down the road, he still loves his job, which I applaud and I love that. But it's an industry that can take a lot of time. So he works a lot of hours. And we had moved, away from, I didn't have any family around. So there was no like, let's go to grandma's house. And I didn't know anybody who I could go drop my kids off with. And so for me, I had to learn pretty early in our homeschool journey how to fill my cup without the chance to fill my cup, if that makes any sense. So I kind of had to find ways to find respite and recover and really refill my reserves of energy like while the kids were still around. One of the ways that worked for me was realizing, oh, I can put these kids in the canoe and we can go camp and it's a win for everybody.
Mhm.
Um, so that helped a lot. So I always had that adventure outlet. And so for me, luckily, those adventures are something that I can continue to do once my kids are grown. I have no issues with solo hiking. I, in fact, try to go for a big hike by myself once a month if I can pull it off. So hiking by myself, and then we've recently gotten into stand-up paddleboarding. So the outdoor adventures are a huge part of it that I know I can carry forward. I've neglected this hashtag for quite a while, but I also love gardening. And there's a hashtag, it's Coleyraeh Gardens. I kind of got known for the flowers that I grow. It's been a minute just because we're in a different season now. And we used to leave the house a ton to go on adventures, and now I'm finding I'm leaving the house like 6 times a day to get to the tennis courts or the soccer field or the theater and all the amazing things that my kids are involved with. But gardening will always be a passion of mine. I have a dream of building a really big flower garden eventually when I have the time to do so, and then to be able to donate bouquets to various nursing homes, or things because there's no reason I need that many flowers. I just love growing them. So that's Coley Gardens is one of them. That'll continue. And then I've kind of developed a pretty cool business with what I'm doing. And it really just started from sharing the adventures that my kids and I went on. So I kind of have multiple funnels of our homeschool family travel where kind of I got an understanding of this industry and figured out how to do it. I learned how to build a website. I learned how to do blogging and all these things. And a couple of years ago, I realized there's really no tourism website for where I live. So I decided to create that. So I have kind of this whole other funnel of like regional tourism website and pages and things that I've been able to pour into and make money from and kind of be an avenue that I can see continuing to pursue as my kids are our kids are grown. And then yeah, so I kind of have a it's a side hustle for now that I can see becoming a full-time hustle. And it's not really saying I'm turning a passion into a profit. It's more of I just kind of saw this business that I could cultivate slowly while my kids were little, and then more intentionally now that they're old enough to stay home alone and I can go to meetings or other things. But it'll be something that I'm hoping can be a nice additional retirement income when the time comes.
And I'm so sad we are running out of time, but I just want to make sure that the moms know where they can find you. And so along the lines of the interesting hashtags, they can find you at Coleyraeh. So
Yes,
first of all, tell us a little story behind. There's got to be a story behind that.
there is, and
And
I'll
then
I'll
how the
try to be
moms can
quick.
find you, where they can find you, how they can get your course, and all these other things that
Yeah,
you're talking about.
thank you. So years and years ago, I had a private Instagram account and I needed to make it public because there was some contests that I wanted to enter and you had to have a public account to do it. And it was really generic. It was like Nichole Holze Instagram handle, which at the time I wasn't trying to do anything with my name as a personal brand or business. And I was like, I don't want my personal name to be my handle. So every single other version of a name that I tried was taken. And so then I thought, all right, well, what's something that's unique? And what's unique is when I was growing up, my sister couldn't say Nicole. It came out as Coley, which is where the Coley came from. Ray is my middle name, and the H comes from the Holt last name. So we can thank my sister for my handle. But it's Coleyraeh is my Instagram handle. I've meant to change it, but then my account grew and I had been tagged in various things, and I was like, you know what? Coleyraeh is me, and it's going to redefine as this journey of life continues, and eventually the kids will be on their own journey and mine will look a little different. So it's Coleyraeh. My website is luckywanderers.com. That's Luckey wanderers.com. And all of my contact information is on there. And if the website's wonky, I'm sorry. I just rebuilt it. I ported it over and rebuilt it. And I think I have all of the issues worked out.
It's amazing how many skills we teach ourselves. You know, I
Yes,
never thought
yes.
I'd be designing websites and doing podcasting and all of this stuff. No clue. So kudos to you, building
And
your
you
own
too.
website.
I feel like we're embodying what we want our kids to be, which is adaptable and keeping their curiosity intact and being lifelong learners. So we're living that.
We are. So thank you for that reminder as I get frustrated with the stupid website. You know what I'm
Yes,
talking about.
yes.
Okay, so before you leave me, I love to end with this question here, but what words of encouragement can you give to moms who are still a bit apprehensive, let's say, about adding more adventure or outdoor experiences into their family life and their homeschooling?
Oh gosh, if I could distill it down, there's so many opportunities. It doesn't always have to look like a big hike. Like you said, you discovered nature in your backyard. There's been so many trips that we went on that were based on literature that we read. We turned family vacations into these adventure schooling opportunities. But I think the most important freeing thing that I wish would have been shared with me earlier on was it's okay to embrace who you are. And it's okay if your homeschool mom life looks different than what your friend's homeschool life looks like. And it's okay if it looks different than what you see on social media. You know what's best for your family. You know what's best for yourself. And it's okay to listen to what you hear in your heart and embrace the type of mom you are because you're the exactly type of mom that your kids need.
And that, y'all, is why you should follow Coley Ray. So, thank you for joining me. Moms, make sure you go and follow her on Instagram. Go get that Responsibly Brave course done. You'll get the discount if you use the word coffee. Make sure you go to her website and get adventuring. So, thank you, Nichole. It's been fun.
Thank you.